You're listening to the Landing Page School podcast, where we give you bite-sized insights on landing page design, A/B testing, and conversion optimization. If you want to convert more website visitors into customers, this is where it all starts. And now, here's your host, Nicholas Scalise.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Landing Page School podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Scalise, and today I'll be talking about qualitative analytics and feedback, and I'll make some recommendations for some tools you may want to check out so that you can start collecting this very important data. So first of all, what is qualitative analytics and feedback, and how is it different than the analytics information you may already be getting from a tool like Google Analytics? Well, when it comes to analytics, there's really two different types. You have quantitative and then you have qualitative analytics. The quantitative data, this is the data that you primarily get from a tool like Google Analytics, will tell you what is happening on your site. You've had this many visits, this is your bounce rate, this is the top page that someone may be landing on, this is the top page that they're exiting. So it's all of the quant stuff or the numbers. But however, it does not necessarily tell you why people are taking action on your site. And that's where qualitative tools come in. So what qualitative tools do is they help you understand why someone left your site without taking action, or what type of action they are taking on a specific page. And so analytics tools, when it comes to the qualitative stuff, there's usually several different tools that are bundled up into sort of a qualitative analytics suite. And I'll cover some of the very popular ones that a lot of the different qualitative tools include, and then I'll show you some recommendations for the different options that you may want to check out. So number one, most qualitative tools are going to have a heat mapping tool, which you basically you install this code on your site and you tell it which pages you want to generate heat maps for. And then what that's going to do, after you collect some traffic, you will then be able to see where people are clicking, where they're scrolling, how far down the page they're scrolling. You'll see their mouse movements. So it shows as a visual overlay on your page, just like what it sounds, like a heat map. So this would be great for someone who may be clicking on an area of your page it looks like a button, but it's not necessarily a button. You wouldn't really be able to uncover that information without a qualitative tool. So if you see a lot of clicks in an area on an image or an icon, and it's not actually a button, then that's an indication you want to work on the usability of your page and maybe turn it into a button, or just take it off, or make it look less like a button. Another very popular tool is a visitor session recording tool. And so what this does is, it just like what it sounds, you actually get to see how people are interacting with your page through recordings, and you can speed them up, you can slow them down, and you see where people are clicking, how they're navigating through the site. And it basically, it's like looking over their shoulder as they navigate your site. This is probably, in my opinion, the most important tool to use in a qualitative analytics suite, because you'll get information here that you wouldn't get anywhere else. You'll see, are people actually reading the content? Are they just scrolling from top to bottom really quick? Are they clicking around everywhere? You'll see their mouse movements, and it really helps you get an idea of the usability of your site and what the average user does. So what I recommend doing is, after you collect enough data from the recording tool, you would spend a little time each week reviewing those recordings. And most tools will let you speed them up. So I'll usually watch them at like 1.5 or 2x, so that you're not actually sitting there while someone scrolls. And a lot of tools are so advanced that now they even skip the periods of inactivity. So you're really only seeing when people are moving or scrolling or clicking. And this can be very helpful. And then you can just tag that recording, maybe come back to it later, and that'll give you some insights that you can then apply to your A/B testing, or just redesign an aspect of your page. Another very popular tool on the qualitative side is form analysis. Now, we did a previous episode 4, on all about form analysis and how to optimize your landing page forms. So if you want to go in depth, if you haven't heard that episode, it's only about 20 minutes long. Go to landingpageschool.com/005 for episode 5, and definitely check out the form optimization episode, so you get some great tips. I give you actionable tips that you can start using right away to optimize your forms. But one of those tips was to actually collect this qualitative data on your forms. So a form analysis tool, what that'll do is it'll look at how people are filling out your forms. It'll look at each form field and it'll tell you people are struggling on this question, or they're filling out a third of the form and they're not continuing, or they're filling it out but they're not hitting the submit button. So that can help you figure out if you have a problem with your page or with the form on your page, if it's a lead capture form or something like that. So it's really valuable data. And so then we have some other tools that are typically included. Those are typically the core qualitative tools. So you have session recordings, heat maps, form analysis. Some tools also include like a funnel visualization tool, and Google Analytics does this as well. So this is something that I wouldn't say is like absolutely essential if you're just trying to optimize a single landing page, but it's pretty cool if you get it up and running and you get it working properly. So what the funnel analysis tools do is it basically visualizes the flow of traffic from one page to another. So if you have a multi-step form that's spread out over multiple landing pages, this can be very helpful. So those are sort of the recording tools that are going to collect data. Then there's another side to qualitative analytics, and that's getting feedback from visitors and actually asking for their input. And so a lot of tools these days will have the ability to create a little survey, and you've probably seen it where you visit a site and in the lower right corner, usually there's a little pop-up that says, maybe it only pops up when you're about to leave, and it says, "Hey, wait, where are you going? What could we have done to make you a customer today?" Or it's a very simple question, and usually it's an open-ended question that just asks about their visit. And you'll be very surprised at the type of responses you'll get. And usually it can take just one response that could be really insightful and help you optimize your entire experience. So definitely check out those survey tools. However, you want to be careful with them because you don't want those surveys to sort of overpower your call to action. So if they are really intrusive, if it's a pop-up over the actual page and it takes away from the messaging of the page and the main call to action, then you don't want to use them. So definitely split test the survey feature if you end up using it, and only use it if it's not negatively impacting your conversion rate. Now, you can also use some of these tools to collect really quick feedback where it's not requiring someone to fill out a form or to type in a question, but they literally just click on an emoji or an icon. And so there's one tool, Hotjar, that has a very simple feedback poll where it basically says, how would you rate your experience? And then it has 5 little emoji faces from really angry to really happy, and people just click on the one that they relate to. And this is a great way to get an idea of your user experience in aggregate, because you're not getting a lot of information. You're just getting sort of that emotional, quick decision of what people feel this page represented or how the experience was. So that's another cool tool. So those are some of the key aspects of a qualitative analytics suite. Most tools on the market are going to have, at a minimum, those different elements, and then sometimes they will add on some other cool features as well. So you're probably wondering, what type of tool do I recommend that you implement? Well, there's a lot of different ones on the market. The one that I use most often is called Hotjar. That's HOTJAR.com. I'm not affiliated with any of these tools. I'm just a user of many of them, or I've tested many of them. So I definitely recommend that you do your own due diligence and find the best fit for you. But I do recommend that you use some qualitative analytics tool. Don't just rely on the quantitative data that you're getting from Google Analytics. So Hotjar is really cool because they have a free plan that's pretty good. They seem to be really innovating in this space, and they've become one of the more popular qualitative tools. It's very easy to install. It's just a single piece of code, and once you put that code on your site, you're going to get access to all these different types of tools that you can set up. One thing also to be mindful of is how these tools may affect your speed and performance of your website. And it really just depends on a number of factors, but it's just something you want to monitor. So if you put one of these qualitative tools on your site, whether it be Hotjar or any of the others that we mentioned, make sure to run speed tests before and after and during the implementation, and make sure it's not negatively affecting the speed and the performance of your site. For the most part, these tools are built so that they have a minimal impact on performance, but this is additional code that you're placing on your site. It's doing a lot of work in the back end, recording and measuring a lot of data. So there's always the possibility that it will affect performance. And you just want to monitor that and be mindful of it, because you don't want to jeopardize your conversion rate or your user experience just to collect more data. It's not worth it. So just be aware of that. Another tool that's pretty popular is CrazyEgg. It's CrazyEgg.com, CrazyEgg.com. This is a tool that lets you not only measure the different clicks and record session data, but you can also set up A/B tests, and you can even edit your site directly within CrazyEgg. So it's a very powerful tool. So you might want to check that one out. It's been around for quite a long time, so it's pretty popular, especially at the enterprise level. So that might be one you want to check out. There's another tool that's relatively new, and it's called True Conversion. That's TRU conversion.com. And this is actually owned by the folks behind digitalmarketer.com. So if you're a fan of digitalmarketer.com, which is a fantastic place to learn about digital marketing, they have a great blog, they have a great Facebook community. This is actually run by those same folks. And really, it's a Hotjar competitor. It does pretty much everything Hotjar does, but you never know. You might like it better than Hotjar. That's to be determined. So whatever tool you end up using, pretty much all of these tools, they either have a free plan or they have a free trial. So you definitely want to check out, visit the sites for the different tools and see which one is the right fit for you. Another tool in this space that's been getting a lot of attention lately is FullStory. That's FullStory.com. And what they do is pretty much everything that we've been talking about, but they have a lot of other features as well. They have a cool feature called Rage Clicks, where you can actually see if someone is clicking on a specific section of your page repeatedly, sort of in an angry fashion, and that can help you identify some other usability issues that you might not uncover with another tool. They also have a pretty interesting pricing model. They have a very generous free plan, because then their paid plan is pretty expensive. It starts at about $199 per month. But for the most part, the free plan is pretty robust. It includes session playback. It includes the Rage Clicks feature that I talked about, session sharing, some integrations. You can even see where people are clicking on links that don't work. So there's a lot to it. So definitely check out FullStory. And then some lesser known tools in this space that are still very robust are LuckyOrange.com. That's Lucky Orange, just like the fruit. They offer pretty much everything we've been talking about, and they've been around for a very long time, so they definitely know what they're doing. Then there's Inspectlit. That's at Inspectlit.com, also a very robust tool. And then a newer one that I found is called SmartLook, and that's just smartlook.com. And that's sort of like a minimalistic version of Hotjar. They have heat maps. They have the visitor journey where you can see how people progress through your site. And they have the session video recordings. So I will put a link to all the different tools that I mentioned in the show notes at landingpageschool.com/006 for episode 6. So go check them out. Maybe sign up for some free trials for the ones that you like. Now, don't install multiple tools at once. That will definitely impact your site performance. So maybe just pick one tool that you want to test out, give it a shot, and I think you'll be surprised. If you're not already collecting qualitative data, it's like a whole nother opportunity for you to not only collect the data, but act on it. That's also key. Make sure you're not just setting up the tool and then forgetting about it, but set up a reminder so that you're going in there on at least a weekly basis and checking the heat maps, checking the scroll maps, looking at the session data, looking at the visitor recordings, and trying to learn from it. Because at the end of the day, It's not just about collecting the data, it's about making smart decisions with the data so that you can continually test and improve your landing pages. So that's going to do it for this episode. Now, I do have a favor to ask of you. Since this is a brand new podcast, I would love for you to leave a rating and review on iTunes or Google Play Music or Stitcher or wherever you listen to this podcast. If you can go leave a short review, that would mean the world to me. It just takes a few minutes to do so, and it would be one of the best ways to help new listeners discover the show for the very first time. So you can go to landingpageschool.com/iTunes to get to the iTunes page. You can go to landingpageschool.com/Google to get to the Google podcast page. So go ahead, leave a review. And if you want to reach out to me directly, you can email me at hello@landingpageschool.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.
The Landing Page School Podcast is a production of Earnworthy LLC.